Okay, in this video, we're going to be talking about revenge trading, right? Big problem that a lot of traders have. They have a lot of difficulties overcoming this problem. And actually, it was something that I struggled with a lot whenever I was a beginner trader. It was something that really, or it's what caused me actually to blow up my first account when I was first starting. It was revenge trading. Okay, so by the end of this video, you're gonna have a solution to go about battling that, to go about overcoming that. Okay. All right. So, well, for me, revenge trading, for anybody who doesn't know what that is, maybe you're new to trading. Basically, revenge trading occurs when you take a loss, and then you go back into the market to try to recoup that loss, to try to make back that loss. You're moving off emotion. You're mad. The market took your money. You ain't having it right. So you got to make that money back. And then you trade, trying to recoup that money. What happens to a lot of traders is they end up digging themselves in a hole. They end up racking up those losses even more. And before you know it, that's what leads to blowing up accounts. And that's what led to me blowing up my account. Okay. When I was first starting. So what I realized was with me is, whenever I fell into that hole of revenge trading, it wasn't even about the money. It wasn't even about the money for me. It was about my ego taking a hit. Okay, because I don't know about you, or I know a lot of people that listen to this. You can probably relate. I'm a very competitive individual. I do not like to lose, and then when I lose, I took it personally, and I wasn't having it. Right, I had to go. It wasn't even about the money. It was about, I saw it as the market beating me. I saw it as the market. It got me. It beat me, and that competitive nature in me, it comes out, and I try to get that W. I got to get that win. I ain't having it in the market. It can't beat me. That was the mentality. Okay. That's the inner dialogue that occurs. And I'm sure for a lot of you, for the vast majority of you, it's probably the same exact thing. You're probably very competitive. You just don't like to lose. And that's what happens. So I'm going to give you a tip. Number one. This isn't going to solve everything for you. This next tip I'm going to give you, and I've given it so many times, so I sound like a broken record, but you got to do it. You need to do it. You need to back test. And we're going to go into the why and why that is important here in a second. But you need to back test. You need to go over a lot of old data. You need to track that data. You need to track everything. You need to track how many wins you have over a large series of trades, how many losses you have over a large series of trades. You need to track your win rate. You need to track risk reward, all that stuff, okay? And you need to get a large sample set over a large series of trades, okay? Now, our next question is, okay, but why is this important? How does this go together with revenge trading? Well, you come to this realization, or I came to this realization whenever, this is one of the realizations that I came to, because after I had blown up that first account, after I dug myself in that hole, I realized you come to this realization that you don't have to be right all the time. Okay, to be a long-term winner, you have to be able to take L's on the chin. You have to be a successful loser. You have to be a great loser to make it in trading. And that's part of it. You got to be a great loser to become a long-term winner. And what this data does, what this data tells you, is it shows that, like, literally you got it right in front of your face, that hard data that says, okay, I can be wrong plenty. I'm going to have some L's along the way. That's what my data tells me. But if I stick with it, over a large series of trades, my edge is going to play out. Over the long term. It's like, say maybe you have a sample of like 50 trades. Say you gathered a sample of like 50 trades. You've seen your setup 50 times, and then you're looking at that hard data right in front of your face that says, okay, I might have some L's in there. I have some L's in there. I have plenty of L's in there, but I still came out on top. But I'm still green overall. And that hard data, it does something for you, because it shows it's right there. It's not just like going around in your head. You have it right there in front of you. It's telling you, if you stick with this edge, if you stick with this strategy over a large series of trades, you're going to come out on top. And that's key for having that realization, that mindset switch. That's key, is having that hard data. It assists you in having that mindset switch, because you just realize, okay, I can be wrong. And still be a winner. I can be wrong and still come out on top. I can be wrong and still have a successful career here. I can be profitable. That is the realization that you need. Now, so we've covered one thing, back testing. You got to do it. That's number one, but it's not going to solve your problem entirely. Okay. I want to make that very clear. Just because you back test, just because you get old data, it's not going to solve your problem entirely. You're not just going to do it and then boom, automatically you're trading like a machine. You got no emotions. You're a robot, right? It don't work like that. It don't work like that, guys. Even myself, believe it or not, I still have those feelings. I have those urges to revenge trade. I have those urges to revenge trade still to this day. To this day. You know why? Because I'm not a robot. I'm a human being with real emotions. Okay? You're not a robot either. You're going to have those emotions. They're going to pop up regardless of how much you backtest, regardless of how much old data you collect. It's going to happen. Okay? But the key difference between what I have mastered and many beginner traders have not is learning how to control that emotion in that moment. That's the key. That's the real key. You got to become mindful of when that emotion is starting to pop up. Most people are not. They get taken by that emotion. They let the emotion control them and then they act off that emotion. You need to realize that emotion. You need to catch it in the moment that it's trying to penetrate your dome, and you need to take control. You're in the driver's seat. You got to become mindful. Okay, like for example, I'll be trading, and let's say, for example, this is a time where I get those emotions. They come up quite a bit for me. It's like I'll maybe have a trade on and it'll get right before my PT. It'll get so close to my PT, like maybe a few pips, and then it'll turn all the way on me. That's one of those moments where I will feel that revenge trade and I'll get taken out of the trade. And then as soon as I get taken out of the trade, I'm thinking, oh, no, this ain't happening. I can't have this. I'm going to get right back into this trade. I'm going to get my money back. You are not going to pull back on me by literally a couple pips. That's that, those are those moments that most commonly I start to get that feeling, the revenge trade. And you know what? It pops up. It pops up even in me. With all my years of experience and how successful that I have been with this, I still have those feelings, those emotions. It's going to happen. You got to prepare for it. But you know what happens? As soon as I recognize that emotion, because I'm mindful of it, I've realized when that emotion, I caught it in that moment. I realized, hey, I'm starting to get a little bit unhinged here. I'm starting to get a little bit emotional here. And you have to just take a deep breath. Catch yourself in that moment. Catch that emotion in that moment. Recollect yourself. And you got to remind yourself, it's okay. It's going to happen. You can be wrong. It's going to happen. To be a long-term winner, I have to accept these L's. That is that key moment. That is that key moment that you take control. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. You're not a robot. You're going to feel that emotion. It's going to happen. But you got to catch yourself in that moment. You got to be mindful. That's the key. You got to be mindful of when you're about to make a stupid decision. And you got to remind yourself, no, that ain't what professionals do. That's what degenerates do. We're not degenerates. We're here to build a long-term career. We're here for long-term profitability. We don't act on our emotions. We don't move off emotion. We move off strategy. We trust our plan. We follow our rules because that's what professionals do. You catch yourself in that moment. That's what you do. And the next question I'm going to get is, okay, but how do we be mindful? Well, you practice it. It's that simple. You practice being mindful, practice meditation, practice. You got to be aware of your emotions. You get good at what you practice at. When you practice being mindful, well, you become more mindful. It's literally that simple. It's that simple. You got to practice it, and you practice it, you'll get better at it over time. It's not going to happen overnight, guys. It's not going to happen overnight. I'm telling you, it's a process. But guess what? If you continuously work at it, it's going to take a lot of work. You're going to slip up sometimes. Accept it. It's going to happen. But always work on improving. Always work on improving. And over time, you're going to get better. You're going to get better at catching yourself in those moments where you're going to want a revenge trade. You're going to want to make it back. That emotion's going to be strong. You're going to feel yourself going to that trigger to some stupid impulse trade, and you're going to catch yourself in that moment. You're going to remember why you do this. It's okay to be wrong. You got to be a good loser to be a long-term winner. That's key. So again, you need to back test, but it's not going to solve everything. It's going to help you a lot. It's going to help a lot of you, because the vast majority of the people that are listening to this video right now, I guarantee you're not back testing. I just know most people aren't. It's a lot of work, and Well, truth is, a lot of people, they want the shortcuts. They want the easy way. And it's not going to happen for you if you don't. You got to back test. You got to back test. I'm telling you. Then after you do that, your next battle is learn how to become mindful, learn how to control those emotions. Okay. And again, guys, it takes a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of work. It's a process. There's a lot of people that are listening to this video right now. There's a large sum of people, not everybody, but a large sum of people. They clicked on this they clicked on this video with no intention to learn, no intention to prove. Okay, there's a large sum of people who they'll just binge watch these videos. They'll binge watch technical analysis videos. They'll binge watch maybe motivational videos, but they have no intention to improve. They're just looking for that dopamine hit. They're looking for that moment that's just going to click for them. And guess what? That moment where it's going to click for you, that is real. That light bulb moment, that is real, but it only happens when you put it in the work. It's not going to happen from watching some video like this or watching some technical analysis video where something starts to make sense. You might be motivated in the short term. That's what you're mistaking it as. That's what you're mistaking that light bulb moment as. It's just motivation. You got to do the work. You got to put it into practice. That's the only way you're going to be successful. Okay, so once you leave this video, you're going to be left with a decision. You're going to be left with a decision. Are you going to practice the actual tips that I gave you in this video? Are you going to back test? Are you going to practice mindfulness? Or are you just going to go back to your old BS behavior? Now, old BS behavior, what has it gotten you so far? For those of you that are struggling, it's gotten you nowhere but losing money and frustration. Okay? What was that quote from Einstein? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. A lot of you aren't back testing. You need to start back testing. Most of you aren't practicing mindfulness. You're not meditating. You're not becoming aware of your emotions. You need to start. Otherwise, you're going to keep getting the same result. You're going to keep getting the same problems. Okay? This is what is required. And I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you, if you put it into practice, you're going to see improvements over time. You're going to get better at controlling those emotions. It's going to happen. Now, also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to link you some videos in the video description. There's other videos I want you to watch as well. So I want you to watch the video that I made on trading psychology. I made a video on psychology. I don't remember the title of it. I think it's something like the only video you'll need on trading psychology. I want you to watch the video on self-discipline, how to become a disciplined trader. That's going to be linked below as well. And I want you to watch the video on back testing, because some of you might be like, okay, but I don't know how to back test. What is that? How do I do that? I got a video on that as well. There is no excuses. You have all the tools available. Okay, you have literally no excuses. Everything. I've given you all the tips on how to overcome it. It's up to you now to make the decision to do so. I can just point you in the direction. I can't do the work for you. That's all I can do. I can point you in the direction and say, go there. Learn from my experience, and now go put in the work.